Immigration is a major issue in the United States and has been for decades since this country was founded. The perception is that this is just a mirror of our own prejudices. Ben Franklin thought there were too many Germans coming to the United States in the late 1700s, and there were issues with the Irish immigrating during the potato famine. And people like Henry Ford tried to keep Jews from immigrating to the United States in the 1930s and then the 1940s, and now the hatred has turned to Mexicans again. Nobody seems to remember the problem of the First Nation people had with European settlers, by any other name an illegal immigrant, taking their land and claiming it for someone thousands of miles away who would never seen the pristine wilderness, but collect royalties and taxes from the criminals and other social deviants that they sent into this country. Let me say the title of Mexican that's given to a lot of these immigrants doesn't in any way reflect the rich cultural diversity of people coming up from South and Central America to the United States and from the Caribbean nations. But have we forgotten that there's also people coming from Asia, Europe, and Africa? And that our State Department pays out, as part of its budget, money to immigrants seeking asylum from all over the world. That's a large part of our budget that goes to give financial support to many of these countries that have immigrants coming to this country legally and illegally. So let's not delude ourselves. These aren't just Mexicans that are coming into the United States. And what's the biggest complaint about illegal immigration? They're coming to take our jobs. Well, what are they taking? The majority of the jobs taken by illegals are jobs that are dangerous or hard labor, jobs that Americans don't want to take, and that last long hours and pay minimum wage for piecework, and they bust their ass for 16 hours a day. And that is what after this Mexican walked 400, 500 miles in the desert or traveled in a storage container for weeks, risking dehydration, starvation, for a chance to make a better life for themselves and their family. It's purely an economic issue. These immigrants are big C capitalists, looking to exploit their only resource that they have, their labor, to improve their lives. And with a globalized economy, you could be very well soon seeking a new job outside of your own country. If you complain about the Mexican who took your job because they moved the factory south of the border, then you're blaming the wrong people. The company took your job and gave it to that Mexican because they could make more money selling to you for the same price that product that you used to make, paying these Mexicans less, using inferior materials to make it, making them work longer hours and under more hazardous conditions than you would ever consider. Who's to blame for taking your job overseas? Is it the company in pursuit of profits, or is it the government that uses taxes to incentivize companies to move their manufacturing to another country? So what's the answer? Untangling this mess is a huge issue, but one that could level the playing field for small manufacturers in every nation. There are several ways to begin improving the economic situation for all of those involved, and once that begins, there's no longer an incentive to illegally immigrate. I support the DREAM Act, and you'll find the link on my website and here. And once this comprehensive law is passed, we will have other reforms to enact that will prevent future discouraged immigration. Step one is to revise a tariff system for the United States. Balancing fair trade of goods and services should be a priority, not punishing a company because they make a shoe with a particular type of material. The manual for U.S. tariff system is bigger than any legislation passed in decades. We need to clean this up. Step two would be to review and revise all trade agreements. In opposition to ensuring free trade, we should be looking more towards fair trade. Fair trade is a benefit to all people who manufacture and all people in the supply line. Since the economic collapse of 2008, we've seen a decline in illegal immigration. And there's no economic incentive for those people to come here. That is the reason why the immigration has reduced. We don't have the jobs anymore. They've been shipped overseas thanks to legislation passed by Democrats and Republicans that was written by corporations. This is something that needs to change. I'm Dennis Lambert, and I approve this message. On May 6th, for the 6th District, vote for me, Dennis Lambert. And when you grab that Green Party ballot, vote for Anita Rios for governor and Bob Fitrakis for lieutenant governor. Write those candidates in on your ballot for governor and lieutenant governor. Anita Rios, Bob Fitrakis. Thank you for supporting democracy.